Hey YouTube, Poopslag here, and this is TurboFat, an open source Godot puzzle game I'm working on. And this month I was adding a progress board so you can see yourself advancing through career mode to make the mechanics a little bit more intuitive about what's going on when you beat a level and stuff. But I also added a few new fun level mechanics for chapter 2, some like little carrots and rules for how the pieces will drop and stuff. So hope you stick around and see all the stuff I've been working on. Let's get to it. So I wanted career mode to work sort of like one of those old roll and move board games like Monopoly or Mario Party or one of those where you beat a level, and if you do well, you'll move like 10 spaces on a board, and if you do just okay, you'll advance like 2 spaces. And this is already in the game mechanically. I already programmed all this stuff, but the way it showed you how many spaces you'd move was just this number at the top next to a foot. So it would say, you have like $10,000 and 12 feet. And obviously, coming into the game as someone who didn't program it, people were just like, "Well, what are feet? Like, can I spend feet? Are they like money?" And so it didn't make sense to people. So now I have this board that shows up, and your piece like clonk, clonk, clonks forward, and the clock winds to show you're running out of time, and it just helps sell the concept a lot easier. So in career mode, you only get to play so many levels before the mode is over, and it makes you start over. And each time you play a level, you use up a little bit of like time thematically. So I wanted to have this clock that can animate and wind forward to show you like, whoa, you're running out of time or whatever. So I did this analog clock graphic, and you can see it has a minute hand and an hour hand, and those are just Godot line 2D primitives. That was easy. But then the face behind it, that's drawn using polygons and some custom drawing logic I had to come up with, so a little bit trickier. And you can see when it winds forward, like the minute hand spins around and it fills up slowly, and then ping, it flashes to the new time. And the digital part on the right, the part that just says like it's 2:30 p.m. or whatever, that doesn't wind smoothly. That just flashes to the new time with a particle effect, which I do think looks pretty cool. But the reason I did that and not have the digital clock wind forward through all the times is for localization reasons mostly. Because right now, if I have to know like what 6 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. are in like Mandarin Chinese, then I need to localize 2 strings, and they might not use like 8:30 p.m. They say, oh yeah, we use 2030 and then the symbol for time. I don't know. But if I needed to localize all the times in between for this animation to have it go through like 6:31, 6:32, 6:33, 6:34, then now I need to localize like just a ridiculous amount of strings. I just didn't think it made sense. And honestly, I think this probably looks better anyways. So up top, the progress board also shows the region's name and some little icons to the left and right to thematically show you like, oh, you're in like a forest or whatever. And then there's a big hand-drawn like chalkboard looking map behind you showing landmarks like here's your house and here's the restaurant and here's the stuff you'll pass by and the tree and things like that. Just little decorations to add to the cutesy feel of the game. So this trail of spaces the player hops along, it's drawn in 2 parts. The first part is just the line part. So I have a polyline, which follows a path 2D for like the shape of the trail. And then the spots are the second part. So I just have a bunch of sprites, which I arrange along that same path 2D. And both those little sprites and the polyline, those are all given a little bit of an outline around them so they can stand out against any decorations in the background. I didn't want these things to blend into the background too much. So to get the player's pawn hopping down the board in a nice looking way, it involved combining 2 functions. The first was a function that would say where is space 3 and where is space 4 and 5 and 6 on the screen, and just converting those into XY coordinates. And then once I had that, I could tween the player's like position from 3 to 4 to 5, and it would sort of glide them along this progress board trail. But I wanted them to bounce a little, so I combined that with a parabola function, which just says if you give me a number that is exactly an integer, this is at the bottom of their bounce. And if you give me a number that's between 2 integers, like 5.5, then oh, they're in between spaces 5 and 6. They're at like the peak of their bounce. So just a little algebra to figure out that parabola. And then as far as the sound effects, this is kind of cool, but they have a number over their head, like the player when they bounce. So it counts like they have 4 steps, they have 3 steps, they have 2 steps, and that number decrements. Every time that number goes down, I just figured out like, well, I'll just play a sound effect every time that text changes. And it was super easy. So I added a bunch of new rules for how lines get cleared. This first filled line cleared delay rule lets you say when you fill in a line, maybe it only clears after you drop like 2 or 3 more pieces and then it'll go away. So you have to like wait. This filled line clear max says this is the most lines I'll ever clear at once. You fill in 3 at a time. Maybe I only clear 1 of those, and then you drop another piece, and the next one goes away. And filled line clear min is sort of the opposite. This is like how many lines you have to fill before it clears all those. So if that's set to a high value, it's really obnoxious. And then filled line clear order just interacts with the other rules to say like the top ones get cleared first or the bottom ones get cleared first. So if it's only clearing a few of them, which ones go, right? And then I added also, I didn't show it here, but a clear filled lines trigger. So you can make levels where lines never get cleared except for like maybe every 2 pieces you drop or every 5 seconds or things like that. So I made a few levels with these rules. This first one is It Takes Two, where you have to fill in 2 lines, and when you do, the bottom line goes away. And then if you fill in another line, the bottom line of those goes away. So you have to have 2 filled lines, and it only ever clears the bottom one. So it results in kind of a claustrophobic, escalating, unfixable problem. That's it's tough to survive. Traffic Jam. This is one where every 2 pieces that you drop will clear 1 line at most. So it's very hard to dig because dropping 2 pieces off and you'll fill in like 3 rows, but only the bottom one goes away. So it's like, how do I get down there? It's sort of a puzzle. And then 5 course meal. This is a level where you have to fill in 5 rows and then all the lines go away. So it sort of feels like zone mode in Tetris Effect, but it is definitely very different and its own little challenge. So carrots are the first of like a set of obstacles I wanted to make that were going to be like vegetable themed and all force you to rely on memory and like block parts of the screen and things like that. So they come in different sizes and they just slowly go up the screen and they leave behind a smoke trail, and some have like big smoke trails or little smoke trails. So they just block you for a bit, but they always pass by. So if you want, you can just play slower and wait for them to pass and just be like, well, I'm not going to drop this piece until I can see, and that's fine. But every level they're on has like a time element where like you're on a time limit. So if you're waiting for them to pass, you're getting lower scores and not doing as well. So it's up to you. But I'll show you a few of these levels I came up with. The first one punishes you for making cakes. If you make like little snack cakes, you get a little carrot, and if you make a big full-size cake box, then you get a big carrot. And so it's punishing you. It's a bit of a risk-reward thing because the cake's worth extra points here. This next one has way too many carrots, and they just show up no matter what you do. There's just the screen is just flooded with carrots. But if you can get a combo going that's really high, then every line clear you get in that combo will start wiping away more and more of these carrots, and they disappear. So it's, can you keep a combo going? And this level alternates all the carrots appearing on the left and then all appearing on the right. So there's some strategies to it as far as you can sort of like alternate between stacking up on both sides and then clearing in the middle, or alternate between just like saying, okay, I'm just going to build boxes on the left when the smoke is gone and then clear it on the right, and it doesn't matter if I can see or not. And then this last one is pure memory. It's just you're playing in a very narrow playfield, so it's pretty easy to remember, but every once in a while the whole playfield just gets blocked by a carrot. It's like, can I remember what's here right now? And usually with just 3 columns, I could do it at least, so I don't think you'll have a problem. So, a few little gameplay tweaks. Career mode was running a little long. It used to last 8 levels, which is, I just thought, a little bit too many, so now it's only 6. And to compensate, I also shortened all the regions so you don't have to travel as many spaces, because now you only have pretty much 5 spaces to reach the boss level and then 1 attempt at it, so it's much shorter. I also changed the way the top-up penalty worked. It used to just sort of secretly, when it gave you your rank, it would nerf it if you topped out. So people had sometimes when they would get like $2,000 on a level, and then they would get like $2,500 and do better, but they would have topped out, and they were like, well, I don't get it. I got more money, but it says I got a lower rank. And so now instead, just every time you top out, it takes away $100, which should sort of hurt your rank because you're either taking longer to finish the level or getting less money. But it's more obvious to the player that the penalty is there. So that's it for October. We got this new progress screen and career mode, so you can see how you're advancing. It makes that make a lot more sense. We got these new levels for Chapter 2, and Chapter 2 is done. So I'm ready to move on to Chapter 3 and storyboard it out, come up with some level gimmicks, some new characters and things like that. I also want to add a new grade screen when you finish the level, so it's just like much more simple and streamlined. It just pops up like chunk, you got 2 out of 3 stars, go to the next level, click here. So that'll be easier to understand. I want to add a new Steam page. So I've never done a Steam page before, but people say it's important to do this earlier in the game's life cycle so people can look at it, see a little video like, oh yeah, that game looks interesting, let me know when it's done. Right now there's no way to do that really. So yeah, they say make a Steam page. I've never done that. If you have any guidance, let me know. I'd love that. Also, I want to promote this to some puzzle gaming communities. I've only ever pitched it to the Tetris subreddit, and they were receptive to it, and so I'm just going to remind them like, yep, it's been a year, I'm still working on the game, it's moved along a little. If you have any communities that you think would like this sort of game, let me know and I'll pitch it to them too. In the meantime, if you want to try it out, it is still free on itch.io. You can just play it in your browser. It's also available for download on itch.io and GitHub if you want to get it for like Windows, Linux, Android, try it out. And we got a TurboFat Discord also if you just want to talk to us and ask about the game, what kind of game it's going to be, what our vision is, how it's going along. If you have your own little monster you want in the game, you can make it and let me know, and I'll try to get it in there. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you guys next month. Take it easy.